Welcome to PhD with Women on IT Hack the Future. My name is Beata Young, and today's PhD Positivity Hacks delivered will be by our guest, Sara Koślińska. Topic: Overcoming the Fear of Investing. Episode 128 starts here. Let me remind you, this is a grassroots community that focuses on women on IT, an inclusive forum of women in technology, startups, and female leaders or investors who are supported by men as well. And I bring heart to that hustle because empathy is my motto. And empathy is critical when you're overcoming the fear of investing. Before we delve into the topic, I would like to mention a couple of things that's been happening or people who are grinding. Cheers to the founder and team leader of God's Hands for the Needy, Justin Wankugu, for all the successful projects and events for the year 2023. We extend our deepest gratitude for your efforts, Justin, and hard work for the children of Uganda and for giving us a chance to be part of your organization. Looking forward to more successful charity events in 2024. Redefine your leadership abilities with our former PhD guest and VP of Workplace Insights, Dr. Tracy Brower, as she shares her keynotes on the topic of leadership redefined at CESUS this coming February 2024. Best of luck, Tracy. Tracy was a guest twice at PhD, and we had lots of great outcomes from that discussion. Finally, congratulations to the newly appointed Women Who Code CEO, Julie Elberfeld. We are excited to witness Women Who Code thrive under your leadership and your dedication to creating sustainable solutions in the tech workforce. Cheers to your success and many more to come. Now let's go back to our topic, overcoming the fear of investing. Investing is frequently perceived as an inclusive domain and predominantly occupied by men. But what if we told you it's not out of reach, especially for women? In this episode, we shatter the myths surrounding investing and empower you to take control of your financial future. Join us, ask your questions, and say hello. Give us a thumbs up or a heart or whatever you would like to tell us today, because it increases our reach and we want to empower more female leaders and men as well who want to jump onto the investment success stories. Sara, let's start with the question, where are you calling us from today?
Hi, hello everyone. So today I'm calling from Warsaw, Poland.
Warsaw, Poland, but normally you're not so stagnant. I mean, I've been following you on Instagram and you've been all over the place. Tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I spend most of my time in Poland, the UK, more and more in the US. And for the last years, I've been working and living in 3 different continents. I lived in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Tel Aviv, Dubai, Amsterdam, London. Yeah, and now I guess it's time to see more of the US.
To see more of the US from the distance at the moment, because you're calling from Warsaw, Poland, my home country. And I hope we're gonna keep this discussion hot, even though it seems to be very cold with you today, Sara. Sara, it's a joy to have you. Now, I would like to ask you, so how is it that you travel all around the world? Is it through the investment money you spent, or is it through some jobs or some engagement in startups? Tell us about that.
No, I started traveling. So first time I moved out, I wanted to move to Israel for personal reasons. but that was the place that gave me the answer to what I want to do. And I found, I was still studying that time, and I found a job at a tech startup in Israel, and I spent there a year. And after that, there was no going back. And my whole life has been spent with startups in tech entrepreneurship. So majority of moving from one place to another was simply because it was the right decision for the business that I was running at the time, or I could see that it would benefit me professionally.
Benefits, professional benefits, or whether it's personal benefits, it definitely is a great place to be here in the live stream, to watch the space, listen to us, take some key takeaways. So, Sara, what was the first step into investing, and what did you learn from that first step?
So, I didn't, like years ago, I didn't think that I was good with numbers. I didn't think that I was good with money. And it was only when I was 25 and I met my business partner that we started discussing his idea to set up this company and create a product that would help young people to start investing. And while building the product for our users, I was also learning about investing. And all those, beliefs that I had to overcome in our user pool, I had to work on them myself. So I was learning how the investing works. What are the basis of that, and I was then translating this knowledge to our users. And because I was fresh in this space of investing, and I didn't have any formal background, I could look through different lenses than my business partner who spent 25 years in finance. And I guess that thanks to that, we managed to create a product that would be very smooth, very easy to onboard, very easy to use by our users, majority of them in their early 20s.
So your target market was what's the generation? I'm really confused because now it changes so fast.
On the beginning, we were focusing on millennials, and it was really funny when I'm thinking about it, because when we spoke back in 2016, 2017 to bank executives, they would say like, oh, millennials don't have money, my kids are millennials, they still study, they have nothing to invest. And I'm like, really, like, how much money is at the moment in possession of millennials, looking at the generational, at the wealth transfer, and also looking at their spending power these days. However, many of the financial institutions or corporations have a pretty short focus. They're thinking my next bonus instead of, okay, what products I can build in order to attract the customers who's going to be my core customers in the next, let's say, 10 years. I can't hear you.
That's all right. I muted myself just to cater for the cat in the background who was meowing profusely because he is clearly wants me to invest into his food bowl. Now, what I wanted to ask you, because apparently the current generation Alpha is investing in expensive goods because they feel like they can be influencers, they can post great things about the latest Gucci bags they bought. However, they don't feel like investing in traditional way. They like to invest in crypto. Would you agree with that strategy?
So when it comes to luxury goods, there are some people who understand this market and know how to make money on that. However, I wouldn't be recommending it to, a mainstream investor, retail investor. And I would say that when it comes to crypto, for sure, you can see that a lot of people are interested in cryptocurrencies. However, there are still many who look at stocks. And one of the main mistakes that young investors make is that they look at particular stocks of brands that they are familiar with in their home market, rather than looking at lowering the risk and diversifying with the whole group of stocks, for example, in form of ETF.
All right, we have a first question from Agata. She's asking, hello, Sara and Beata. Hello, Agata. What was your first capital you invested?
Okay, so I can answer that because I think it's an interesting story. I actually, like years before I started this company, I went to a bank and I told the clerk that I wanted to start investing and I would like her to advise me on which products to buy. And we spent together maybe like half an hour, and I didn't understand any of the explanations she was giving me. I didn't feel like she was, confident about the products that she was selling. For example, she would be telling me, oh, buy this product. Why? Because it's a bestseller. And I'm like, what bestseller? Like, maybe there is something that is better for me. What does it even mean, bestseller? And I left the bank without investing anything, without choosing any product. And I felt pretty overwhelmed with the choices that I was offered. And for the next couple of years, I wouldn't go back to the idea of investing. So I wasted all those years. And as we know, investing, I mean, the earlier you start investing, the higher are your chances of making profit at the end, or the chances of making higher profit from your investments. And then I only started investing once I was already running this company and learning about investing. And with the knowledge that I gained from my own company, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable enough to look at some investment products. And actually, the first products that I selected were the ones that I knew my friends were buying. And these were the people who knew what they were doing. They worked in the finance industry. So I started with this one. It wasn't big money, but I was glad that I kept adding money to my account regularly, because that's another good rule in investing.
So now, what are the other rules that are good to keep in mind when you want to start invest?
Would you like to share about your experience with investing? I think that this question was for both of us. You don't have to, though.
I will be happy to do that. So I used to work for two companies, and both were, one was private listing, and the other one was a public listing. So my first company, and I was a fresher, I was working for a company that used to be PPH, which is like in a nutshell, it was government owned company. I'm that old. It shows my age. So anyway, the pharmaceutical furniture company was trying to raise money, and the way I was told it's going to look like, it's either I invest, and at that time it was with my father-in-law, who was from my previous marriage, who was actually a lecturer talking about investing. And he said, he asked me a lot of questions, some of which I couldn't answer. So I invested 3,000 zloty in a year before 2000. So it's quite a lot. I mean, then he was upset. I mean, their whole family, after I divorced, were upset that I wasted that money, even though it was a question of I invest or I lose a job, pretty much, because the company was in dire states and eventually it dissolved. But I was quite upset because the guy who was actually appointed by the government, he had no idea about how to run a company, because basically it was in Poland in the late 1990s, and lots of people who lost a job due to restructuring, going from several municipalities to one big Kujawsko-Pomorskie, he lost his job, so they appointed him as a guy running a company. My second investment, though, was more mature, because I used to work for Neuka, which is one of the biggest wholesale pharmaceutical company, and they were going public. And I was at the time working for import and export. I was leading a parallel import at the time. We were going to join the European Union, and they were looking into raising capital. And it's still going strong, but I have no time to really look at different means of investment, even though my husband is an investor and advisor to several stock exchanges. So there you go. As they say in Poland, the shoemaker who walks without the shoes.
Yes, and I can share with you what my friend says in such instances. She says, for 8 hours a day, for 5 days a week, you make money. Why wouldn't you spend 15 minutes a week to think what you want to do with them? Like, how do you want them to work for you, and so on? It really doesn't require that much time. You just first put things in place, and then it works for you.
That's a great advice, Sarah. However, I am mindful of the fact that not everybody may understand how the stock markets operate. Hence, we always would like to advise. This is not advisory here. Don't take it out of context. Don't invest in Neuka now, because I didn't invest in it. So please be mindful of the fact this live stream is not to advise you on investing. This is just to teach you that investment is a good way of making your money back. One thing that I would like to also add, I have invested in several properties with my husband in Poland, so this is paying pretty well, and hopefully, given the current situation, hopefully the interest rates are not going to go any further, but so far so good. Now, Sarah, let's go back to investing in the stock market. So what are the facets you have to understand before putting your money on the table?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, that investing is not that complicated. Somehow there is this perception that in order to invest, you need to be a middle-aged guy wearing a suit with, with a degree in economics, let's say. And it doesn't work like this. I mean, you don't need all that to start investing. What you need to do, and actually the principles of investing are really simple. However, what is the more complicated part is to follow those. So, for example, one of the rules is to not is to keep your money on the account even when the value of your investing goes down, because market fluctuates, which means that sometimes you're going to be making gains and sometimes you're going to be making losses. And this is completely natural. And so one of the rules says, don't panic and don't start when the value is going down. And it's easy to say, it's harder to do. So one of the things that you need to figure out when you are beginning your journey with investing is what type of risk you can accept that will allow you to keep your money on the account no matter what's happening. And that would be one of the main principles. The other one would be, as I mentioned before, start investing as early as possible. You don't need to invest right away thousands of dollars. It's okay to start small, even if it's $50 per month. Don't worry, just start investing and keep doing that on monthly basis. And you will see the magic of the compound interest later on. The next rule is to keep your money invested for as long as possible. So the shorter you keep the money in investment products, the higher are your chances of losing some of the money or all of the money. And historically, if you kept your money in S&P 500 for 20 years period, you did not lose your money. So if we follow this rule and you just keep your money on the account for 20 years and you invest with such time horizon in mind, you should be much better off. I would say that these are like the three pillars that you should start with.
The three pillars that we should start with. However, what about diversification? I think it's also important not to put all the eggs into one basket. So tell your takes on that.
Yes, so I usually talk to people about products that are great for first-time investors because they are already diversified. So I'm talking about ETFs, exchange-traded funds. And the beauty of this product is that instead of selecting stocks of companies by yourself, you have someone doing it for you, and you can go for very diversified groups of products. So you can have, for example, S&P 500, 500 biggest American companies. You can have a group of small and medium US companies. You can have both the developed markets and developing markets. You can look at MSCI World. So basically you're buying a small piece of a big basket. So even if some of the companies are not doing well, the other ones will balance it out. I should also mention here that you don't need to buy only stocks. You can also buy bonds, or you can buy a mix of those two. And the bonds will help you to lower the risk in your portfolio, and will make the variability of your portfolio to be lower, meaning that you're gonna have less of those peaks that go up and down, which might help you stay on track with investing.
Now we have a question that we need to address because I think it's somebody that I know very well, and it's Patrick L. Young, who is my husband. So he's asking, and he's actually joining us from Bangkok, where he's attending a conference. So I think it's past midnight. Hopefully we are not here to cure your insomnia. However, here is the question from IPO Meeting. opinion, how do you divide your portfolio between publicly traded assets, private assets, debt, equity, other instruments? Thanks, and a good discussion.
Thank you, Patrick. So I would say that I look only at a mix of stocks and bonds, and the common rule is to do something like 80-20 or 60-40 with your with the ratio, the balance between stocks and bonds. And the general rule is the younger you are, the more stocks you can have in your portfolio. And with age, you lower the percentage of stocks and you start having more and more bonds in the portfolio, which means that your portfolio becomes, people say safer, but I don't really like this word because safe sounds like, this is the option you should go for. However, there is another side of the coin to that. Every portfolio or every product that is safer will also bring you lower returns. So I encourage people to first start with the portfolio with a big portion of stocks in it, and only once they feel like this is too much for them, to move to a more balanced one.
Now, I've heard a couple of times, it's a very good answer, thank you, Sara. I've heard a couple of times on Instagram, on other various channels, TikToks and so on, people advising to invest in stocks following politicians who have the insight into political infrastructure, what changes the politicians and government are planning, and that way you can minimize your risk. What is your take on that?
So I know that there are those strategies, like the whole eToro platform is based on that you can follow people based on their historical returns, potentially people who have some insights that you wouldn't be able to get easily. And I'm not going to say that it's bad, because I do myself. I put some money in it and I test how that works following certain people. But I wouldn't say that, just selecting stocks is the right strategy. I would say that as long as you're not a professional investor, you should rather go for ready, diversified products rather than trying to outsmart the market, outsmart the professional investors, and try to gain returns that would be higher than what you would get from passive funds, that you would get from index funds.
Great answer. Thank you, Sara. Now, you talk about, on your course, you talk about investment 101 and the products that are good for beginners. Can you tell us about these?
Yes, so the main product that I talk about in my courses is the ETF that is based on two basic products, which are stocks and bonds. And ETFs, exchange traded funds, not only allow for diversity. Yes, why diversity? Because I'm going to be talking about diversity in a moment. They not only allow for having this portfolio that gives you a big coverage of different markets or different industries, but they also allow you to invest in accordance with your values. So, for example, if you want to support women, you can look at companies, products with companies that are run by women. And if you believe in green energy, you can look at companies that work in that industry. So there are certain topics that you might follow, and you can find ETFs specifically in those areas that you believe in, that you want to make a positive impact in.
Now, I'm the great supporter of crowdfunding, and I wanted to ask you about equity crowdfunding. Is that a safe way of investing your money when you know that there is a certain product, and especially given the fact that so many of founders, founders especially, are supported by other females just because the products or the companies they have resonate with us more than some male-led companies?
I wouldn't say that I have much experience with equity crowdfunding. I did invest with some platforms in the UK, and I did get some of my money back. However, I don't think I made any profit on that. I think I only got part of the money I invested. So the company exited. However, they exited on such terms that we as investors didn't really make money on that. And I didn't it was a very small amount of money that I invested. So it doesn't really change anything in my life. And I did that to try another vehicle. And I would say that in general, I think that equity crowdfunding is great for entrepreneurs because it allows entrepreneurs easier access to capital and also access to more democratized capital. Because we know that the VC industry is dominated by men. And if you're a female founder, you have very small chances of successfully raising money. It's like out of the whole capital, it's only a couple of percentages that go to female founders, and there is about like 10 or 15 that go to mixed founder teams, and all the rest goes to male founders. So I think that through equity crowdfunding, we can support the ideas that we believe in and the founders that we believe in. When investing for returns, I guess I'm a more conservative investor, meaning that I would still have the majority of my money invested in those traditional type of products like ETFs, stocks, bonds, rather than looking at the alternative investments. So it's good to have part of your portfolio allocated to high risk or alternative investments. There is nothing wrong with that. You can look at 5 or 10%, but just keep in mind that you should always remember that this is the money that you might lose, and you should be fine with that.
You should be fine with losing the money, and you should be fine with who you support, because really these values are going to be your extra motivation. Well, let's look at some of the VC funded or stock funded great role models. I'm looking at Whitey Wolfe Herd. She raised some capital while being pregnant, 8 months pregnant. And then we have Sarah Treleavan-Blakely, who is the founder of Spandex. These are great success stories. I know it's been difficult for them. However, if you don't know who to invest, support other women. And here is a shout out to Cindy Gallop, who was also who is also a founder and also a speaker, previous speaker for Women on IT. We are great supporters of you, Cindy. Keep grinding. Sara, and now I know your investment course is in Polish only. However, I wanted to know, what is the outcome? Have you managed to turn these listeners or your supporters into investors?
So I'm very slow with launching the course and promoting it. So I keep adding more and more material. And I think that the course is already, in the shape that it's a complete product that is ready, with which a user will have a good basis to make decisions by themselves on what next steps to take in terms of investing. And I give an option of buying an extra 1 hour with me and in a small group of participants so that we can discuss it. And once I really start doing the promotion and I see the numbers of participants rising, potentially, I see potential for building a community for women. And there are such communities in Europe. They're not big yet, and they are mostly English speaking. So I think that it excludes some of the women. And I think that there is always space for new groups, for new communities, and whatever makes women convinced that they're able to start investing by themselves. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. You can reach out to Sara. She will be happy to guide you and prepare or tailor the content for you if you would like to schedule a one-on-one meeting. Now, I guess, Sara, it's a good time to use the quote that my assistant Racy brought to my attention. The greatest barrier to success is the fear of failure. Is it fear of failure for you that you didn't launch your product? I mean, you're adding layers and layers and you don't feel like you're ready?
I launched the product already, and I think it's already complete. But I think that, with some extra materials that I'm working on can be used for promotion. And I wanted to, first build the product and then start selling. Some people do the other way around, and there is nothing wrong with that. But, since I have the course and the product completed, now I can focus more on the promotion.
Now, Sara, you're a great startup guru in Poland. You've been featured by many publications like Forbes, for example. I'm wondering what is the product? Is there an AI product or machine learning capabilities that would help you invest on the stock market?
Interesting. I haven't thought of that. I think that even though in most aspects of life, I'm the early adapter, and I want to try new things. When it comes to money, I think I'm a bit more careful, and I first want to see how some things work in practice, have people use that, with what results, and only then I'm gonna give it a try. So with money, I'm fine with this conservative, maybe not conservative, but this old school products, stocks, bonds. I'm comfortable there. However, if anything will pop up in the market that might lower the risk of investing or might increase the profits from investing, I will definitely have a look at it.
You will
have something in mind?
No, I do not, although I found a very interesting article recently about AI, ChatGPT and so on versions. The latest versions apparently are more stupid because they learn from us. There you go. I think human intelligence wins again, people. Don't be afraid of AI. Now, Sara, it's a great note to summarize our talk and talk about investing. Why is it important, do you feel, for those who fear of investing? Just to summarize, why is it important for us to start investing?
Yes, so I would say that this is especially important for women. Why? Because less women invest, because they have this perception that it's complicated, because they're not surrounded with other girls who invest, because they don't very often don't actively start the topic of making money or having some extra income, or just what to do with the money, how to save, how to invest. And men do that more. And I can see also among our users that that men are much more interested in this kind of products than women. And we, because we live longer and because we spend more time outside of work due to maternity leave, we need to make more money. And in order to do that, especially in the world where we don't earn as much as men, we need to make our money work better for us. So thanks to the fact that we live longer, we can also afford a bigger risk. So we can decide on picking a portfolio that will have a higher level of risk and will bring us potentially a higher return in the future. So summing up, I would say that women not only can, but should invest, and they should allow themselves to take on bigger risk because they have longer lifespan. And when it comes to professional investors, you might be interested to hear that women have better performance when it comes to investing than men, and this is partly related to the hormones, because while men get those spikes of hormones when they when they invest in the market, when they see how the companies are going up and down and so on, they tend to make decisions quicker, and they tend to leave their strategy sooner, more more impulsive. And women, because they control it more, they can stick to their strategy better, and thanks to that achieve higher return at the end.
Achieve higher return and more stable return. We are definitely, we have great potential to get our money back for the future of our children. I think it's also an important facet to focus on our kids' future, because I remember when I was invited to speak at the Bahamas at the launch of Arwax, we talked with Bria Delavo, who talked about how her mother invested in some stocks to ensure that she will have some money for her studies. So that's another great story for us all. Now, there is NerdWallet said that only 48% of women have invested in the stock market compared to 66% of men. And also, it is also known that women spend less time investing compared to men. I suppose it's not just the facet of us juggling multiple work, and I hope you will have time after this talk to look into investing in your future, the future of your children, and becoming the unicorn of your investment world, like Sara, a great role model. Now, Sara, as we are heading towards the end of our show, there are a couple of questions I would like to ask, judging from your career. I wanted to know, what is the number one advice you would like us to know how to make a great career, great progress?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say the first one is don't assume that people around you, especially men, know better. So there is no reason to assume that we know less, or that we are less qualified, that we are less skilled, because most of the time this is not true. So we should definitely see ourselves as an equal partner in business meetings, in business negotiations, while applying for jobs. That would be my number one advice.
Number one advice from Sara, and look how far it got her. What are the top 5 soft skills all career-driven females, in your opinion, should have, Sara?
I would say that empathy is a big one, because it allows you to understand easily what people want, what people expect from you, and then especially in careers like sales, this is very helpful, but not only in sales. In majority of situations, you want to understand what people want from you and see if if you want to sell them that, or if you want to use that fact in negotiations and so on. So I would say empathy and understanding requirements and needs of others. The next one would be to stay calm under stressful circumstances, because crisis happens on daily basis when you're running a company. So that would be the second. The third one, many things can go wrong. You can create multiple black scenarios, but there is no point in that. It's good to understand what are the risks in front of you, but don't turn it into black scenarios, because everything might also work out just fine. 2 more? How many do we need?
Yes, 2 more.
Okay. So I would say that also being able to convince others, that's a big one, and it's also related with empathy, and then standing your ground. So if you believe that you are right, don't just say, oh, okay. No. If you believe that your idea is good, if you believe that your solution is right, stand by it. Sometimes it's not that people don't want to follow your idea. Sometimes they need to hear it a couple of times. Sometimes they need to see that you have the conviction that if they give you the task or the project, you're going to be able to take care of it. So stand by your ideas and your opinions.
Stand by your opinions. That would summarize as integrity is vital in any circumstances, whether it's your career, whether it's life. And empathy also is a big one. I see that we have Agata Belance's empathy is a big one as well. We have a comment from Kutens. I'm sorry, I didn't see that before. Do you invest in Indian stock market? Nifty 50. Oh, I see there is a little advertisement there going on.
So I haven't invested in Indian stock market. No. Why? Because I believe that investing in a bigger, more diversified product and not one particular market is a better option. I know that the Indian market is growing fast, so maybe as another test for myself, another learning, I can give it a try. Let me look into it.
There we go. We've got a free of charge advice, but we do not advise you to invest in a 50 Nifty or whatever it is. Now, as we are heading towards the end, I know, Sara, that you've got a couple of dreams in the pipeline. What is the future for Sara?
The future. Oh wow! I still have a lot of things that I want to do. One of them is to spend more time in strategy, because as an entrepreneur, you wear multiple hats, and strategy is only one of them. So if I had the chance to spend more time in this particular area of strategy, I would be happy with that. What else? Have we discussed it before?
We have. I had a feedback from you that you would like to invest in women as a VC partner. Is that still in the pipeline, Sara?
Yes.
Tell us
Yes,
about that.
that's still in the pipeline. We'll see when it's going to happen, because this idea has been on my mind for a couple of years now. And so it might happen soon. It might happen later, but at some point I will be on the other side of the table and making it easier for female entrepreneurs out there to raise funding for their ideas. And I must say that probably just like many other people, I look at the area of AI, and I've been actually doing that even before the hype. And I can see potential for AI applications in multiple areas, in fintech, in health tech. But maybe I will leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that. We have got a comment from Kutnis. He's grateful for your comment, Sara. Great to hear from you both. He says, wish you the best. We wish you the best as well, Kutnis. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, women are like tea bags. We don't know our true strength until we are in hot water in life. How are you in hot water? How are you brewing? Is it tea with vodka, that famous Polish concoction?
I actually like to be in hot water. So just the other day, I was meeting with a friend of mine, and I was like, I really feel good in like crisis management, managing crisis situations. Yeah, that's where I think it's partially thanks to my ADHD. So when I need to be like laser focused on something, I use all my energy on that, and it gives me great joy.
Oh, you and me, sister. Hands to that. There you go. ADHD diagnosed by my daughter. When we have more tasks, it's much easier done than we have one task, and it's so difficult to start doing it. Now, as we are heading towards the end, there are staple questions that we always ask. Before you started career, is there a book that you wish you read it?
There is this one book that I enjoy a lot. It's about organizations and changes at organizations. It's called
The Power of Habit.
Yes. Thank you. The Power of Habit. Okay. And it describes different strategies, different tactics that were used in order to change processes at companies to increase the quality, safety, and so on and so forth. And maybe it sounds dull from this description, but for me it was like super fascinating to see it on real examples.
It's great to have real examples. Storytelling is key here. Now, can you please give us your life lesson quote, and how did it change you?
Oh gosh, my life lesson.
Well, I think we're gonna settle on women are like tea bags. You know our true strength until you put them in hot water.
Yes, we can go with that. It's a nice one. I like it.
Good. Well, actually, if we talk about quotes, we were cracking up today because we have this morning call with our team, and we had a very good one as well. Life is not a fairy tale. If you lose your shoe at midnight, you're drunk. There you go. That's another quotation to take with us. Now, Sara, there is another staple question. Let's imagine that you could meet anyone in the world for a private breakfast. Who would it be And where would you choose to meet? Share your pick and the reason why. It's a glimpse into your dream breakfast scenario, Sara.
I think it would be Angela Merkel, because I'm really impressed with how she navigated this male-dominated party and how she handled them, carefully and strategically, and how herself being only 30 plus, she entered this party and after number of years became the head of it. So it would be for sure Angela Merkel. I would love to meet her and hear all those great stories. Where? Does it need to make sense? No, it doesn't need to make sense. It can be anywhere. It can be the most unlikely place to meet Angela Merkel. Where haven't I been yet? Madagascar. Okay, I would like to meet Angela Merkel in Madagascar, and we would be just sitting on the beach and having a drink. How about that?
That's cool for me. I thought you were gonna say something like a space mission or somewhere, but Madagascar is good to me. Now, another great quotation brought to my attention by Racy. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail, as Confucius once said. Now, Sara, it's been a joy to have you, and it's a pleasure to have a fellow Pole making a great strides in the world of entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. And that's it from episode 128 of the PhD live streams. Thanks to our guest, Sara Koślińska. You can follow her on LinkedIn, check out her bio and her profile. It's definitely another role model that is very good for the community and is supportive of our community. To stay updated and ensure you never miss a positivity hack delivered, follow Women on IT and turn on notifications to be alerted once a video has been released. Next week's guest, we've got Elaine Gold. She's going to talk about leveling up, navigating the founder to leader transition. Join us next week on Wednesday, as always, here on Facebook live stream, LinkedIn live stream, and YouTube. And later on, we will be releasing a podcast as well with the same content. Thank you so much to our lovely audience who participated and asked questions. That will be Agata Bellon, Patrick Young, and Kutens. It's quite difficult to say. Now, thank you so much. As always, our positivity quote comes from Positive Thinking Only and goes, look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder. And finally, as Maya Angelou says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Change your attitude towards investing and look into bringing some joy and money by investing in stock market. Thank you. Today is your day to hack the future, hack the positivity you want. Thank you.
Oh, it was great to meet